This is the Sabbath School lesson for the second quarter, 2021.
Lesson 11 for June 5 to 11, New Covenant Sanctuary, read by Dr. Percy Harrold. Friday, June 11. From the book Selected Messages, Book 1, page 257, we read, "The highest angel in heaven had not the power to pay the ransom for one lost soul. Cherubim and seraphim have only the glory with which they are endowed by the Creator as his creatures, and the reconciliation of man to God could be accomplished only through a mediator who was equal with God, possessed of attributes that would dignify and declare him worthy to treat with the infinite God in man's behalf, and also represent God to a fallen world. Man's substitute and surety must have man's nature, a connection with the human family whom he was to represent, and, as God's ambassador, he must partake of the divine nature, have a connection with the infinite in order to manifest God to the world, and be a mediator between God and man." And then from the same author, from The Desire of Ages, page 357. Jesus continues, "As you confess me before men, so I will confess you before God and the holy angels. You are to be my witnesses upon earth, channels through which my grace can flow for the healing of the world. So I will be your representative in heaven. The Father beholds not your faulty character, but he sees you as clothed in my perfection. I am the medium through which heaven's blessings shall come to you, and everyone who confesses me by sharing my sacrifice for the lost shall be confessed as a sharer in the glory and joy of the redeemed." End of quote. And that brings us to our 3 discussion questions for this week. 1. Read Romans 5:2, Ephesians 2:18 and Ephesians 3:12. What are they saying that helps us understand our access to the Father through Jesus? Romans 5, verse 2, "Through whom also we have access by faith into this grace in which we stand, and rejoice in hope of the glory of God." And Ephesians 2, verse 18, "For through him we both have access by one Spirit to the Father." And Ephesians 3, verse 12, "In whom we have boldness and access with confidence through faith in him." 2. Look at the second Ellen G. White statement given above. Notice how she explains the role of the mediator. When the Father looks at us, he does not see our faulty character, but Christ's perfection instead. Dwell on what that means and discuss it with the class. 3. Looking at what we've studied this week, ask yourself how you would answer this question. Okay, so Christ is in the sanctuary in heaven, so what? What does that mean on a daily practical level? And to summarize this week's lesson, the old covenant sacrificial system was replaced by the new. Instead of animals being sacrificed by sinful priests in an earthly sanctuary, we now have Jesus, our perfect sacrifice. He represents us before the Father in the sanctuary in heaven, which forms the basis of the new covenant and its promises. Inside Story. Our mission story this week is titled "Boy Revives Dying Church," and it's by Andrew McChesney of Adventist Mission. A Seventh-day Adventist church elder asked Alejandro to preach his first evangelistic series at the age of 8. "We want to plant seeds, not to harvest," the elder told Alejandro's mother. The church was dying on Tierra Bomba, an island off Colombia's coast in the Caribbean Sea. Its head elder had resigned from the pulpit and left the church on the last day of the evangelistic meetings that he was leading. Church members were discouraged and many had stopped worshipping on Sabbath. Alejandro, who had preached since he was 4, was scared to speak at the first meeting, but Mother gave him a big hug and they prayed together. People packed the yard of a church member's house to hear the boy speak. Hoping to disrupt the week-long meetings, the former head elder organised his own meetings in his home across the street from Alejandro's site. He invited current and former church members to attend his daily meetings. People walking to his house saw the boy speaking as they passed by and stopped. "Who is this child preacher?" they wondered. Many stayed to listen. The former elder was upset to see people going to Alejandro's meeting, and he marched over to demand that they come to his house. "Come on," he told people, grabbing them by the arm. "Let's go." Some people went with him, but when he wasn't paying attention, they snuck back to listen to Alejandro preach. This went on for several days. Then church members invited the former elder to the evangelistic meetings, and he came. As part of the meetings, Alejandro visited homes of people who had responded to his appeals for baptism. During the first round of visitations, 3 people confirmed their desire for baptism. During a second round, an unmarried couple asked for baptism. Alejandro's mother helped them complete the paperwork so they could be married. A total of 7 people were baptized at the end of the week-long meetings. Alejandro left Tierra Bomba happy. The church members also were happy. The church was strong and growing. Jesus triumphed, Alejandro says. And there's a lovely photograph of the smiling Alejandro here just to the left. Alejandro is a 10-year-old child preacher in Cartagena, Colombia, and he has led 18 people, including his parents and older brother, to baptism since he was 4. Read more in this quarter's Children's Mission, downloadable at bit.ly/Children's Mission. This quarter's 13th Sabbath offering will help open a Better Life Centre to train missionaries at Columbia Adventist University in Alejandro's homeland, Colombia. This lesson was read by Dr. Percy Harrold for Christian Services for the Blind. It's supported by the Sabbath School Department and Hope Channel Australia and is rebroadcast by Christian Record Services and through podcasts at It Is Written in the United States, Hope Channel Germany, and through Apple iTunes and SoundCloud. Remember, God is always faithful.